Sonny's on the IFL TV in association with MTK Global.
What, Coogan's just still sulking?
I've just been sent here, I don't know the ins and outs.
No. He didn't explain what happened very well, but when I was trying to sort it out, the tweets didn't go down very well. Burnt Bonte's never been called a dwarf before. He's actually about 6'6" as well. He is. He's massive.
Mad. Anyway, today we're not here for anything to do with Burt Bont.
Yeah.
We're here for the Ryan Burnett and Lee Haskins press conference here at the Europa in Belfast. Yeah. You brought big time boxing back to Belfast for a bit.
Yeah, I'm pleased. You know, I mean, obviously everyone knows that we were here with Carl Frampton up to, you know, when he beat Kiko Martinez for the European title, and I've been looking for an excuse to come back here for a long time. Probably the most passionate fight fans in the world, and just the atmosphere they can create at the Odyssey is sensational. With Ryan Burnett, when I first signed him, boxing was at a stage where I was kind of thinking we'd return to Belfast with a good British title fight or with a European title fight, but because boxing's become bigger and bigger, we've had to bring a world title fight back to Belfast. But I'm pleased that we have, because now there's something that the public and boxing fans can really get their teeth into, which is a big domestic title fight between a very good world champion Lee Haskins and a very strong young contender in Ryan Burnett that might not be ready, but we're going to find out. And you know, as you could hear from the press conference today, they love it. They love supporting their own.
They cheat anything.
The banter juice is flowing in Belfast, and I'm excited to be back. And it's not, you know, a one-stop wonder for us, but Ryan Burnett must win. If he doesn't win, I don't know what we'll come back here with. Do you know what I mean? If he does, then the guys that are on the card, people like Tennyson and Highland, they've got to be in proper fights, and they've got to be willing to take risks to grow on that journey with Ryan Burnett, and basically to make sure that they can jump on this bandwagon with us as Ryan Burnett defends his world championship and hopefully unifies the title. So, you know, we've got a lot of young talent on the card from Ireland. We're going to be adding some matchroom title fights as well, and you know, I'm pleased for Ryan Burnett. Boxing's there's some real good people in boxing, and because of how Adam Booth feels about Ryan Burnett, and because of that bond they've got, when I signed the Haskins fight and told Ryan Burnett and told Adam Booth, sorry, probably a month ago now, he was literally quite close to tears. You know, I could see what it meant to him, and that made me feel good as well. And I think when he told Ryan Burnett, he's got some pictures which hopefully he'll release today, with them embracing and them being in tears, that everything they've been working towards has finally become a reality. They've got their chance. Doesn't mean they've achieved it yet, but it's there. They can see it, they can touch it, they can feel it, and it's coming on June the 10th. So I feel like I've done my job, and now it's over to Adam and Ryan Burnett to become world champion.
Obviously on the weekend we did see a bit of the apprentice versus the old skilled master. Yeah. It's a bit like this again.
As Adam said, yeah, it's exactly like that. I mean, a guy, he's lost once in 9 years, Lee Haskins, and Ryan Burnett, who's, you know, I don't say he's inexperienced, but he's a rookie compared to Lee Haskins. And you had that at the weekend at Wembley as well. You know, you had a young lion who basically just wouldn't lay down against the old master, who nearly, you know, put his evil spell on Joshua and got the job done. But it's a good mix of styles again. It's a good mix of experience versus youth, and maybe it is a changing of the guard here, and Ryan Burnett can become world champion. Maybe he's too inexperienced. Maybe, you know, he's not as schooled as Lee Haskins, and he can't, you know, knock the old boy off the perch. But we'll find out.
Talk a bit more about that fight at Wembley. Massive, the biggest fight in British boxing since I've been alive, I reckon. Talk about the knockdown first. When Joshua went down, what were the words that come out of your mouth?
I was just like, I was more concerned when he knocked him down in the 5th and he started celebrating. I saw him in the corner and he was just like pumped, and then 30 seconds after that was swinging away, and then all of a sudden he got hit by a big left hook, I think it was, and you could see his legs just run out of gas. That was when I was more afraid in the fight. And then he got through the round, I think 30 seconds left in the round or something like that, took some more big shots, went back to the corner. At that moment I kind of accepted that we may lose here. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in this round. Came out for the SIG, quite smart, popped the gum shield out as well. You know, took a huge right hand. I didn't know whether he'd get up. You know, it was such a big shot, his legs were so tired. He went to his knees, got up at about 8, and then really after that knockdown, he did okay in the round. Again, took some massive shots in the fight and in that round. Hung in there. What impressed me the most was in 7 and 8, where he just took the rounds off and let his lungs fill up with oxygen again. The way he slowed Vlad down, he boxed off his jab. He showed tremendous heart, because when your legs fill up with lactic acid like they did, it ain't easy to recover. But to find the second wind, I could see him coming back to the corner at the end of the 6th and 7th. He looked down at me, I think it was the 7th, and he went like this, as if to say, he's coming back. I can feel my energy coming back. It's weird, really, that you can be as tired as he was and find a way to come back and still have the power and the speed to knock someone out in the 11th round. And like that finish, I turned to my mum. My mum's like very negative person. You've got my dad, who's just like the most positive person you could. My mum's very negative. And at the end of the 5th round, my mum said, "He's gone. It's over. It's gone. He's gone. AJ's gone." He's.
She might have had a bet on Klitschko.
Yeah, I know. But and then even in this, I said he'll be all right if he can just get through the next round. Got through the next round, and I think in the 8th or the 9th, I said to my mum, "I'm telling you now, he's going to knock him out." No. He's too tired. He's too tired. And he went and knocked him out. And
that's exactly what you needed.
Yeah, but the way he did it. Listen, it's one thing. We work so hard to sell out shows, to give the shows the hype, to drive the pay-per-view sales. But at the end of the day, without the product, without the fight, it means nothing. And I can't control that. But when it goes your way, and you get something like Saturday, it's just the most wonderful feeling I can't explain as a promoter, where you know that everybody that's put their hand in their pocket is happy. There wasn't one person that wasn't at Wembley on Saturday night that will not remember that night for the rest of their life. They won't remember that night for the rest of their life.
I did have a bit to drink, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It was a flashy for me.
Alright, James, see you soon, mate, cheers. So, but that's what you want, that's what you need. And it's so big for boxing. I can't tell you, the worldwide media, the worldwide international broadcasters, they were like, we have never seen anything like this. Not just the fight, but the show. The scenes, and that's massive for British boxing. It was such a huge night for so many different people on Saturday night, and I'm so pleased everyone enjoyed it.
I see that Bob Williams, you'll know him, obviously the referee, put down that his boxing club that he does at Watford, last week he had about 8 kids turn up, 37 this week. I mean, it just shows that people have seen it. I feel as though we got a chance with Anthony, and I know people get bored with like the role models, but not people who watch this video will get bored with the role model, the ambassador speak. I can't tell you how important it is to have a fighter that young kids who are not into boxing look at and say, I want to be like Anthony Joshua. It will improve grassroots boxing so much. It will raise participation levels at amateur clubs who are struggling, and it will help the game from bottom to the top. So, like, if my kids came to me and said, I want to be like Anthony Joshua, I'd be so happy that they wanted, do you know what I mean? I've got 2 girls, so probably not too happy, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's role models in the sport, and there's other people in sport that you might not want your kids to aspire to be. With Anthony, you've got that guy, and he's going to be, he's already huge, but he is just going to be the biggest star in world boxing, bar none. And now it's all about planning the future. It's about keeping our head focused and keeping eye on the goal, making the right decisions, not all of a sudden thinking we're this and thinking we're that. Do what we're doing, it's working, you're winning, the shows are incredible. Find the right opponents, find the right routes, deal with the politics, everything, and just keep making the correct decisions. Because for me, Anthony Joshua is the first fighter that I ever guided from the debut to the World Championship. And he's my first ever unified World Champion. And now, and I honestly feel like we might not even be halfway through this journey with AJ. I can't imagine what watch he's going to get for this.
Oh no. He'd buy me a watch. I'm so pleased for him, because to come back from that, like how he was down, he showed a tremendous, and so many questions that we don't know. Has he got a chin? Yes, absolutely. Has he got a big set of balls? Fucking right he has. You know what I mean? All those things that are so important to get off the deck and beat Klitschko. Scold him.
The next opponent, obviously, there's major talk. He is the money fight, as you would say. No matter who he fought, they'd get dough.
Yep.
So people are in for him. The likelihood, is it the Klitschko rematch, or
possibly.
are you looking elsewhere?
It was a great fight. I'd like to see it again. I think Klitschko's going to take the next couple of weeks to see what he wants of his career. If he wants the rematch, it will happen next. We've got Pulev, it's a mandatory we've got to deal with as well. That's not going to go away. You've got Joseph Parker's boxing on Sky Sports on Saturday night. You've got Deontay Wilder as well. We've also got to remember that Josh has probably got 8-10 years left. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of feels like that was a legacy-defining fight in his 19th fight. So you'll see him box October, November, and probably only twice a year from now on. So we'll have to see.
Obviously, you can mention the rematch and Pulev and Deontay Wilder, but I think the fight that most people want to see is the Tyson Fury fight. What do you make of Tyson? I know I
like Tyson Fury. I mean, look, he gives me a lot of stick on Twitter, but I think he's generally got a good heart. I think he's a decent bloke, and I genuinely hope that he returns to boxing. I think he's got a long way to go physically, and he's also got to overcome hearings and possible suspensions and stuff like that. So when I look at a Fury-Joshua fight, I really look at it as this time next year, probably in the same arena. Do you know what I mean? Because I think they'll both have a fight before then, and I think Fury needs to fight as well. And then we can look at the Fury fight again next year. Without any question, the biggest fight for Anthony Joshua right now is Tyson Fury. So I can't tell you how desperate we are for that fight, but there's a lot that has to, I don't think we can put that fight into the mix just yet till things are up and running for him. But you know, you're not going to meet anyone who wants that fight more than myself and Anthony Joshua.
Obviously, we can't forget the whole undercard of that fight. Obviously, Katie Taylor winning her first title, Luke Campbell and Scott Quigg both doing the business. How proud are you of them for performing on the night?
Yeah, it's hard because you are in a you are in a situation where you've got 90,000 fans. So how many of those are casuals, if you like?
About 82,000.
Exactly. So like probably 25,000, 30,000 didn't even come out of the bar till Joshua was ring walking. So it's hard sometimes for those guys to get themselves as motivated when they know most people there are there to see Anthony Joshua against Wladimir Klitschko. I thought Luke Campbell boxed well after a tricky start. I thought Quigg was good. He's a bit hard on himself. First fight under Freddie Roach. It was an entertaining fight. I mean, a tough fight. Simeon was tough as they come. I thought Katie Taylor was excellent. But I think you're going to see now more. I had this conversation with, might have been James or Coogan recently. And after Saturday, it's just emphasised even more. You have got to be in proper fights. Otherwise, it ain't going to be good enough. It ain't going to be good enough for the fans. It's not going to be good enough for the broadcaster. And fighters have to be willing to take risks now, because the quality level is going up all the time. Whereas a British title fight that was okay used to be good for a main event. Now it's like, if there's a British title fight, shouldn't even necessarily be on TV. Maybe you put it off TV. This is how the game's changing, and we have to, all of us, promoters and broadcasters, make sure. It doesn't mean throwing fighters in before they're ready, but when they're ready to go, they've got to be in the real fights. And I think we're looking at our strategy all the time, because the game's, even after Saturday night, the game changed incredibly.
Did you break them box office numbers?
Yes.
By how much?
We don't know exactly, but it was comfortably through the box office record. So it was a great achievement, and Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua did very well.
Lucky men. I've seen on Joshua's stories, living life, swimming in swimming pools at 3 a.m.
Yeah, he's extended that rental just for a few days, and he's a very grounded individual. His life evolves around his family. So you won't see him out in clubs, like hanging out of doors at 4 in the morning. He wants to learn, he wants to improve, he wants to gain knowledge, he wants to improve as a fighter, and he wants to make sure that his family are happy and looked after, and that's what matters to him.
So we're not going to get a Bellevue style celebration, walking through Libertine with bottles of Dom Perignon in his name?
No, that won't be Josh. You might get it, but he won't be drinking them, that's the difference.
Alright, fair enough. Well, listen, Ed, anything more you want to say?
No.
Right then, well listen, thanks for giving us a bit of your time. Obviously, I know there's a million people here waiting for you in Belfast, but until then, well done on the show. Congratulations on breaking the box office numbers, and I'll catch up with you soon. Top man. Cheers.